us any moment. As I made an announcement a little earlier, when Maharaj walks onto the stage, I request all of you to stand up and remain standing until Revered Maharaj takes his seat. Our students who are graduating today, getting postdoctorals, post-graduations, etc., must be feeling very, very happy. And why not? It's a great milestone in each one of our lives. And you're all doubly blessed by getting a chance to study in this university named after the Jagadacharya, Swami Vivekananda. You must have read in his biography how wherever Swamiji went, he was revered as an outstanding teacher. Even though Swamiji himself was never aware that he was a great teacher, people found in him a mass of knowledge which comes out of realization, a mass of wisdom which comes out of realization. Swami Turyanandaji would say, one of his Guru Bhais would say, if you want to see how perfect a man can be, look at Swami, look at Naren, look at Vivekananda. When Swamiji says, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man, he couldn't point to himself, but we see all those characteristics in Swamiji himself. Swamiji has given many definitions of education, but one which all of us can easily remember and implement also would be, what I feel is, the training by which the mind is brought under control and used rightly. So I will stop now. I think Revered Maharaj is coming. When he comes, please stand up. Namaste. So we welcome most revered President Maharaj, Param Pujaniya Sangha Guru, Swami Gautamananda Ji Maharaj.
He is present on this occasion as the chairman of Ramakrishna Mission governing body, which is the sponsoring society of this deemed university.
We are blessed to have Revered Maharaj in our presence today. He was garlanded by Swami Atmapriyananda Ji, Pro-Chancellor of the University. Maharaj has completed 97 years of age. He's entered his 98th birthday now, but we are giving him a convocation gown also. So he's very, very young and one amongst us. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. We are blessed today to have in our midst most revered President Maharaj, Swami Gautamanandaji, our Sangha-dhyaksha. And as I said just now, he has completed 97 years of age, but he will put to shame many of us with his agility and physical fitness and mental fitness, of course. My respectful pranams to most revered Maharaj on behalf of all of us. My respectful pranams to all the senior Swamis present here. Namaskars and good wishes to all monastic brothers, Matajis, students, guardians, parents, and everyone else. We are just about to begin today's convocation. We will begin with the Sanskrit students of the university reciting the traditional Dikshanta Upadesha convocation address from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Please come.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Ganana Antva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannotibhis Sedasadanam Mahaganapataye Namaha. Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinevate Dhenama Vitravato Ano Divo Brihatah Parvatada Saraswati Yajatagantu Yagyam Vagdevyai Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Stirairangaiः Stuštuvagum Sastanubhih Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuh. Swasti na Indro Vriddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Medha Devi Dushamanana Agaat Vishwachi Bhadra Sumanasya Mana Tvaya Jushtanudamana Duruktaan Brihadvadema Vidakhe Subira Tvaya Jushta Rishirbhavati Devi Tvaya Brahma Gata Shri Rutatvaya त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रम् विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्वद्रविणो न मेधे मेधाम् म इन्द्रो ददातु मेधाम् देवी सरस्वती मेधाम् मे अश्विना बुभावा धत्ताम् पुष्करस्रजा अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यन्मनः दैवी मेधा सरस्वती सामा मेधा सुरभिर्जुषतागु स्वाहा मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगते जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सामा मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्ताम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदम् पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Thank you, young students. That was a wonderful sonorous chanting. You can see what the impact was. It's just simply marvelous. I would now request the Pro-Chancellor of this university and Secretary of RKM Very, Swamatma Priyananji Maharaj, to give his address of welcome to this convocation.
ॐ मधुवातारितायते मधुक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः माध्वीर्नः सन्तोषधीः मधुनक्तमुतोषसि मधुमत्पार्थिवकुम्रजः मधुद्यौरस्तु नः पिता मधुमान्नो वनस्पतिर्मधुमागुमस्तु सूर्यः माध्वीर्गावो भवन्तु नः ॐ मधु ॐ मधु ॐ मधु ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ तत्सत्. Offering our most devoted pranams to Paramapujya, most revered Swami Gautamanandaji Maharaj, Sanghadhyaksha, the president of the Ramakrishna Math and the Ramakrishna Mission, whose holy presence is illumining this hall today, we begin the proceedings of the 21st Convocation of Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda Educational and Research Institute, deemed to be university as declared by the Government of India under University Grants Commission Act 1956. Swami Gautamanandaji, our most revered President Maharaj, has seen the inception of this university from its very birth, the labor pangs which accompanied this, the hiccups and the twists and turns, and the teething trouble which every institution which begins its journey has to face inevitably. And with his blessings, advice, and constant support to this day, we have been able to grow from strength to strength against all opposition from inside and outside, which is quite natural for any growing institution. Swami Vivekananda said, without opposition you cannot grow. And Vivekananda himself faced so much of opposition. A young boy of 29 reaching beyond the shores of India and facing the wide world absolutely inexperienced, having lost all the credentials, reaching there 6 months in advance, and fortunate enough to meet a person who could recognize this rarest of the rare gems, he himself being a gem. The Harvard University professor, John Henry Wright, whose 2 sentences on a piece of paper is the greatest evaluation of Swami Vivekananda, apart from his own master, the divine Guru Sri Ramakrishna. He said, to ask this young man for credentials is to ask what right the sun has got to shine. And he is more learned than all our professors put together. That was the journey, and we constantly keep repeating the 2 great Maha Mantras which Swami Vivekananda uttered just on the eve of his Mahasamadhi on the 4th of July 1902. This became a very sacred day for us, although Ramakrishna Mission and Ramakrishna Mutt normally do not celebrate the Tirodhana Divas, the day of Mahasamadhi of any of our great souls. I asked late revered Swami Pramayanandaji why this date was chosen. Then he said, Miss Josephine MacLeod, the disciple from America of Swami Vivekananda, who chose to call herself not a disciple but a friend of Vivekananda, insisted that this should be the day on which the Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira, which was thought to be the nucleus of the future university, should begin. She was very close to everybody. Swami Virajanandaji was the president at that time. And she went and said, I want this day because it is the Independence Day of America, as we know. And Virajanandaji gladly agreed. That was why the 4th July came to be chosen. So this is the foundation day of this university. I remember in a small hall, Vivekananda Sabhagriha inside the campus where the university presently is situated, there was a crowd of monks and brahmacharis. Swami Suhitanandaji, whom we are missing today, arranged that all the brahmacharis and all the sannyasins of Belur shall be present, including the training center and the pre-probationers training center. Late revered Swami Gahananandaji, the then president, he was there to inaugurate, and all the trustees of the Ramakrishna Mutt and the members of the governing body of the Ramakrishna Mission, who the sponsoring society, were present there. It was a majestic, glorious function, and we began our day with a lot of hiccups, fumbling but not tumbling. Dhole kinchu podena, Sri Ramakrishna said. In 20 years we have been moving along, and the thrust areas chosen were also divinely ordained according to me, because a lot of debate went on. Swami Vivekananda pronounced on the 4th of July, talking to Swami Premanandaji, his very dear brother disciple, and said, Prachina Bharatiya Dhara Bojai Rekhe, তার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে আধুনিক জ্ঞান বিজ্ঞানের অনুশীলন যাতে হয় এমন একটি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় গড়তে হবে। বেলুর মঠে সমস্ত জমিগুলো দেখাইয়া বলিলেন, এই সব জমি নিয়ে এখানে বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় গড়তে হবে। Keeping the ancient Indian ideal, spiritual ideal intact and blending it harmoniously with the modern sciences, we should establish a university here. Showing all the grounds near Belur, he said we should establish a university here. We fondly believe that the very grounds on which Swamiji trod is the place where the university is presently situated. A couple of days earlier, when Sister Nivedita had gone to Belur Mutt, perturbed, confused, unhappy, because the girls were not coming to education. And she almost lost hope, went to get consolation from his guru, what kinds of subjects should be taught so that the girls could be brought to the school. It is recorded in the reminiscences of Miss Josephine MacLeod that Swami Vivekananda listened quietly for a long time without speaking a single word, so unusual of him, so talkative as he was, and said, at the end, you see, you may perhaps start these subjects or perhaps not. My mind is no longer in such things, I'm preparing for death. After 2 days, he passed away, as you know, and he said, but you should have your meals with me today. After Nivedita had eaten, Vivekananda himself poured water in her hands to wash. Vivekananda, Nivedita, very much the disciple, protested, saying, Swami, I can't bear you do this to me. You are my guru. Vivekananda smiled and said, Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. Nivedita just had it in the tip of her tongue to say, but that was the last time they ever met. She never met him again. On that historic occasion, Ms. Josephine MacLeod records, Vivekananda said, the spiritual impact which has come to Belur Mutt will last 1500 years and it will be a great university. Do not think I imagine it, I see it. These are the two sentences which we keep repeating endlessly. And since that day of the pronouncement of the university, conceived by this great rishi of the modern age, all his followers, disciples, monks, became extraordinarily inspired. And he said, what kind of university we should have? Debates went on. Constant discussions were on. What kind of university? Did Swamiji envision a kind of university like Nalanda, Takshashila? Should be a monastic university? Should it teach only philosophy, religion, and such subjects? But Vivekananda always wanted a combination of the East and the West. It was a great dream. Repeatedly he mentioned it. The best elements of the East and West should be harmoniously combined. Obviously, it couldn't be a run-of-the-mill university. There should be some uniqueness to this university. Debates went on and on. During the centenary of Swami Vivekananda's birth, 1963, a committee was formed, and Swami Vimuktanandaji of revered memory, he was given charge of taking this forward. He was the convener of the committee, and many young and old people were there. Swami Ranganathanandaji, who recently passed away, one of our most revered monks and the past president of our order, under whose presidency the university came into existence in 2005, he recalled to me, these members have done an excellent job which I myself could not do. I will give some donation for this university. Then I reminded him later, Maharaj, the university is in place, but where is your donation? He said, if necessary. I said, I'll give. He was very alert, 97 years old at that time. And then he called me on the Vivekananda's birthday, 2005, and said, here is your check. That is a great blessing for us. Like the 10 rupee note the Holy Mother Sharada Devi gave to the Kashi Shivashram, they have preserved it, but we can't preserve a check. It will be invalidated. So we made a copy and kept it there. That's how the journey began. Then the debate went on and on, what kind of subjects. Once again, by divine will, the subjects which whatever Swami Vivekananda is very fond of. 3 criteria we thought about what kind of subject should be introduced. 1, these subjects should directly benefit humanity and the common man, particularly the marginalized and the underprivileged. 2, Ramakrishna Mission and Ramakrishna Mutt centers all over the India and abroad should have developed a reasonable infrastructure for these subjects so that we may build upon them and not reinvent the wheel, as they say. And number 3, these subjects should be such that they should make an impact in society. They should be modern subjects rooted in the ancient culture. We came up with a few thrust areas. 1, obviously Indian spiritual heritage, School of Indian Heritage, not only spiritual, cultural, artistic, even sports heritage. We have a Department of Sports Science and Yoga. Number 2, School of Mathematical Sciences, and the building which we later on built. These two are mirror images of each other, as Swami Vivekananda envisioned. Mathematical Sciences housing departments of mathematics, physics, computer science, data science, and Department of Indian Heritage, of which the most important vital component is the Department of Sanskrit and Philosophy. The third was School of Agriculture and Rural Development. We have two illustrious institutions. One is at Ranchi in Jharkhand, the School of Agriculture, Rural and Tribal Development. Narendrapur in West Bengal, School of Agriculture and Rural Development, which are almost 100 years old. All the infrastructure has been developed. We toned the infrastructure a bit and converted into university. The third was Disability Management and Special Education, Rehabilitation Sciences, which was already functioning in our Coimbatore Center in Tamil Nadu. And the next one was Environment and Disaster Management, which is also unique at that time. There is no university in which environment and disaster management together are taught. In the beginning, I was told by so many people, discouraged in fact, why do you combine these two? There will be two separate things. Even about sports science also, there's a lot of debate. We should have exercise physiology. We have this. Copying somebody at this. I said, why not they copy us? Why should we copy anybody else's? That's also running very well. And recently we added School of Biological Sciences, thanks to a great support by the present General Secretary, who is the Chancellor of the university. We housed it in Shiva Pratishthan, the big hospital in Calcutta, and with the help of many other outstanding, reputed hospitals in and around Calcutta, having an MOU with them, including the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Kalyani. And recently we had a School of Health Sciences, and we're building a small holistic health complex where medical research will be done mostly. We have brilliant brahmacharis and sannyasins who are doing research on all this. This is the saga of the university, which is slowly growing. It is a toddler crawling on its force. Slowly, it is now reaching adolescence. But as you know, in an institution's life, 10 years equal to 1 year. So 20 years of the university should be about 2 or 3 years only. It is still a toddler, but teeth have started coming out slowly. And we hope, by the grace of the Divine Mother Kali, who was the main inspiration behind Ramakrishna, if you ask Swami Vivekananda, what about this university? I don't know. Ramakrishna said this. If you ask Ramakrishna, he will say, I don't know. Ma amake dekhi dile. If you ask the Divine Mother Kali, she will show Brahman, and Brahman will not talk at all. This is the story. We believe very strongly is by divine will and the divine grace that the universe has come up and is growing from strength to strength, thanks to the constant support of the members of the governing body, many of whom are here, and our most revered chairman of the Ramakrishna Mission governing body, and the Vice Chancellor, the Chancellor who happens to be the General Secretary. This was a masterstroke of a genius of Swami Sparananandaji, of revered memory, who was the General Secretary at that time. He suggested that the General Secretary should be the Chancellor because many of the centers of Ramakrishna Mission, which are off-campus centers of the university, to a prince, my dear prince, this life is short. The vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. In Vedanta, there's a concept of Jivan Mukta. Vivekananda introduced a new concept of Jivan Mrita, a person who appears to be living but is actually dead because this selfishness which kills. Bhagavan Bhagavatpada, Shankaracharya always writes, whenever the concept of Mrityu comes there, he says, what is Mrityu? Avidya Kama Karma. And getting caught in this is actually Mrityu. Let us live purposefully, live meaningfully, live for others, and contribute to society, a great country, and to God, if you believe in one. Those who don't believe in God, there's no problem at all. You have to believe in nature, whose laws govern nature, which is called science, and the belief in the grace of that divine being who controls nature is called religion. Welcome, Swagatam, Suswagatam to all of you, our teachers of our own, and all the monks who are present here. To all of you, Swagatam, Suswagatam.
Thank you, Revered Atmapriyanandaji Maharaj. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, the way you present things and make them so interesting. You took us down memory lane, bringing out anecdotes from Swamiji's life and about the early days of the Vivekananda University. You began with the spiritual scientist Vivekananda and ended with the physical scientist Einstein. I'm sure all our young students must have listened to him with rapt attention. Not only listen to him, but digest what he has said. It'll go a long way in helping you in life. It is now my pleasure to once again request Swami Atmapriyanandaji Maharaj to come and give the citation for the award of D.Sc. honoris causa, which is to be conferred on Dr. Shankar Das Gupta. Maharaj, once again, please come.
Sir, Dr. Singh, Das Gupta. Come. Let him come. He is Dr. Shankar Das Gupta. He is an outstanding scientist, engineer, entrepreneur, innovator, and philanthropist from Canada. And he has come today in the most traditional Indian dress. I'm reading out the citation to embarrass you. Upon the approval of the Chancellor and the Executive Council, Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda Educational Research Institute, deemed to be university declared by the Government of India under the UGC Act 1956, is pleased to confer the degree of Doctor of Science, the D.Sc. honoris causa, upon Dr. Shankar Das Gupta, an outstanding scientist, engineer, entrepreneur, innovator, philanthropist. In recognition of his remarkable contribution in science and technology, invention and innovation, and above all, his philanthropy in the spirit of selfless service to humanity, following Ramakrishna Vivekananda ideology, and to honor the unique saga of how this brilliant scientist found ways of using science and technology to create wealth for the poor, besides creating entrepreneurs through cascading effect out of simple rural folk through empowering them with technology. Dr. Shankar Das Gupta has worked over 50 years in the fields of science and engineering, is a successful entrepreneur, founder of Toronto Calcutta Foundation in Canada, through which his generosity and munificence flows to India, and above all, a philanthropist noted for his commitment to generating wealth for the poor through knowledge empowerment, particularly for the underprivileged and marginalized sections of the society. A prolific inventor and innovator, his work has had global impact in the areas of energy, environment, electric, transportation, other key areas. He has been awarded nearly 80, look at the number, 80, US patents for his innovations and several hundred corresponding international patents. His agro-engineering research spans the following 4 areas of philanthropy in India. 1, to provide high nutrition diet to stunted children. 2, research in tissue culture to create wealth among the rural poor. Ushering in a quiet, catalytic revolution in rural entrepreneurship among the rural poor through the cascading effect of creation of 1 leading to 10 lakh rural entrepreneurs. Climate change mitigation, vision of creating heat-resilient cities. In all these endeavors, Ramakrishna Vivekananda ideal of selfless service has been Dr. Dasgupta's guiding light and driving force. Swami Vivekananda also emphasized that the way for the regeneration of the masses and the rural poor is to empower them through the right type of education, blending the Bharatiya, Adhyatmik, Jnana, Indian spiritual wisdom, with the modern Western science and technology, what Swami Vivekananda called the best elements of the East and the West. This is the very ideal on which this university, bearing the hallowed name of Swami Vivekananda, is founded. Thus, it is in the fitness of things that Swamiji's university should honor Dr. Shankar Dasgupta with the award of D.Sc. honoris causa, conferred at the 21st Convocation ceremony of the university on the 4th of July in the year of 2026 at the sacred precincts of Belur Mutt, wherein is situated the main campus of the university in the holy presence of Paramapujya Swami Gautamananda Ji Maharaj, President, Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission, Belur Mutt headquarters in Belur Mutt, signed Swami Sarvottamananda Vice Chancellor, place Belur Mutt, date 4th of July 2026. We now request Dr. Shankar Dasgupta to give a short acceptance speech.
Namaskar, and thank you for this great honor. Whether I really I'm worth effort, I don't know, but thank you all. So it's such an honor and pleasure. My grandparents were Ramakrishna Mission. They were in New Delhi. They started up, and I remember meeting Swami Ranganathananda ji when I was a young teenager. What a wonderful person he was. And one of my grandmother's sisters was Dikshita of Sharada Mass. So it was wonderful that I'm back here. It's the youth which is what you're going to lead us. We are handing the baton to you and to lead us into, and as Vivekananda said, as Shami Athipriyananda said, science, and that's what, over the last 300-400 years, the massive development has been through science and through interactions with science and industries and so on. So just a little background of myself. I was from Presidency College, and our Vice Chancellor is here. And I was so when I joined Imperial College, I was 19. In those days, it was very quickly, Presidency used to give us degrees. We had 3 Nobel laureates at Imperial, and they said, "Oh, you're from Presidency," and they immediately put me up a little bit so that I got my PhDs rather early at 23 years old. But I want to discuss something which will come to all of you. There is Thakurer Kripa comes. It's an inspiration. And that is very important. When Thakurer Kripa comes, what do you do with it? So I'm telling to the young that you got to, when it comes, run with it. It is an inspiration. It's an inspiration. Don't take it and sit. Take it and run. Take risk. Amra, we are in the middle of all the wonderful Sharnashis and monks, and they have taken risk. They have left behind to create a new universe. So for the students, grab the inspiration and run with it. I was very fortunate. I invented something when I was 22. It was an electrochemical reactor, and I could have written 3 papers, got a prize, and got a job in the academic institution. No, I took it that when you get Thakurer Kripa, you run and you produce something. And that was wonderful. And then it kept on coming. We invented the first lithium-ion batteries, and it was done in a stealth manner. So when the accolades comes, they probably didn't know who had created the batteries, but we spread it out around the world. And now the whole transformation of the world in energy is happening because of this. We built the first electric vehicle in the world, in the USA and in Europe, partnered with Mercedes, who was our partner, and started showing to the world that, yes, you do not need to burn precious hydrocarbons and fossils to produce transportation. And I was very pleased. Ratan Tata became a very good friend, and we introduced the electric vehicle to him. And Ratan Tata and we had a joint venture company in Europe. And then there was a lot of other people came in. NASA gave us programs. We were building space stations. I also was an advisor to Prime Minister Modi, which was always good to be, because he would send me tickets. And it's good to get tickets from Toronto to come to Delhi. And then he sent another ticket and said, come and with the Kumbh Mela was on in 2019. It was actually a slight mistake. Never be a guest of the Prime Minister to go to the Kumbh Mela. So they put me up in a tent, lot of gods. All I wanted to do was to meet the Shanashis and maybe slightly, please don't listen, have a little ganja with them, but no, we are surrounded by security. So that was, I should have got out of there. And then I was also with the White House Committee on Energy and Environment, and where we created that first understanding of the climate change and the heat. And this is something we want you to fix, because this is a major problem coming up. And so I was the only non-American scientist in that little committee. And suddenly there would be a knock on the door, and Al Gore, who was the chair, was asked to go out, and he went out, came back 45 minutes later, and said, we just went to the Situation Room, we sent some Tomahawk missiles to where it is, and we started back energy and environment. And I was thinking, is this what we scientists are doing, generating so much power into the hands of politicians? Heaven help us. But what can we do? So these people previously used to fight with lathis, and now they fight with Tomahawk missiles, all unfortunately given by us. But going back to this Thakurer Kripa, when Thakurer Kripa comes to you, please, you've got to take it, take risk. You can take risk and create something wonderful. Last little one is I was at the Tata group in Bombay recently, and they call me a legend at the Tata, which is a terrible language. A legend money, you're dead. And I prefer to be living. Anyway, so they told me a nice little story about Swami Vivekananda, which maybe is known or not. So Tata Chemicals at Mithapur runs the largest inorganic chemistry, industrial chemistry in Asia. It's a massive point. And Swamiji, as he used to do, travel, and he was walking around there long time back, and saw a lot of people in destitutes and so on. And he was staying with the Gaikwad there, and he said, you can give them little alms or some sheva, but that doesn't solve it. Solve this problem fundamentally. Create something so that there will be a sustainable wealth. And Gaikwad said, I'm busy running my country or his state. So that, but when a young man came and saw Mithapur and went to the Gaikwad saying, I can create something there. So Gaikwad gave him his Golar heart, the necklace, pearl necklace, and that's how Tata Chemicals started. So this story of Vivekananda was, again, to you, the youth, that you will be receiving, like the young man at Mithapur, you'll be receiving Thakurer Kripa, and it's up to you. Do not sit on it, get a little accolade or something. Take risk and use the Thakurer Kripa and build something magnificent. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shankar Dasgupta, for his inspiring words. He is nearing 80, but still full of energy. He's 76, 77. So he is now on another massive project. The Bengal Chemicals in Calcutta, which was set up by Acharya Prafulla Chandra Ray. That was the first Atmanirbhar project. Prafulla Ray said, why can't we indigenously produce chemicals? Why should we depend on any other country? The Presidency College principal at that time, he was a Sahib, as you know, refused him any space there. He searched out a small space near the bathroom, dirty, stinking, started working there. Now, unfortunately, Tata Chemicals is in doldrums, it is sinking, and the government of India owns it, and they want to get rid of this somehow. So Dr. Shankar Dasgupta has come up with a fantastic idea that he will purchase this, like the Air India being purchased by the Tatas. And he says, we will revive it, we will not allow this Bengal Chemicals to die down. He has already worked out the strategy, and most interestingly, he has picked a friendship with me in the university, is coming often, and he says, Vivekananda University should partner with him. I said, we can't partner with you either legally or financially, but in an advisory role I can be there. So two old septuagenarians, me and Dasgupta will be there, and we are negotiating with the central and the state government. Of course, state government has nothing to do with this. It is directly in the Prime Minister. Is negotiating how the Bengal Chemicals can be revived, and his dream is how the Vivekananda University can continuously receive funds in perpetuity. That is a great dream, and so many other dreams he has got. Thank you, Dr. Sangha. We are honored to give you this award, not that you are also honored. And he says, ঠাকুরের কৃপা যখন আসে ওটা নিয়ে কী করতে হবে। আমি যখন খুব ছোট ছিলাম, পূজ্য স্বামী বীরেশ্বরানন্দজি আমার গুরু, ওর কাছে গিয়ে কিছু বলতে হবে বলে বললাম, মহারাজ আশীর্বাদ করুন, the standard thing which everybody says. Then he got irritated and sharply said, আমার আশীর্বাদ তো সবসময় আছে, ওটা নিয়ে কী করবি? That struck me as something wonderful. Ashirvad is flowing. Ashirvad niye amra ki korbo, it's up to us. As he says, Thakurer kripate niye ki korbe, grab it and do something. As he repeatedly said, take risks. Risk na niye jivane keu kichu korte. Cozy liye, Swamiji bolchen, this problem is there, that stuff is there. Go again, take risks in the name of God, just like Hanuman Mahavir did. Thank you, Dr. Dasgupta. Thank you.
So before this brief by Swami Atma Priyanandaji Maharaj, Pro-Chancellor of the University, we heard a flower bouquets to our guest in chief. To Dr. Shankar Das Gupta, I'm sorry. So I was saying many thanks to Dr. Das Gupta for his speech from the heart. I think all of us, especially the younger generation, the younger students, please sit down. So he spoke from the heart for the benefit of all of us. Very inspiring. I must confess that Dr. Das Gupta has been coming to meet me quite often. On every of his India visits, he comes and drops in at our office. We know each other through a common acquaintance. One Mr. Shumit Ghosh, who is the founder and president of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. I never knew that he was such a wonderful personality, such an accomplished personality, that only reflects his humility. I'm happy to be participating in this function, conferring the D.Sc. honoris causa on him. It is now time for today's convocation address by the guest-in-chief, Professor Nirmala Narayan Chakraborty, Vice Chancellor, President's University, Calcutta.
He is a philosopher of repute. Now he is a Vice Chancellor of Presidency University. We are gifting him a set of 8 books recently published by Swami Bhajananandaji, which people like him will be able to appreciate. I want to record my very, very special thanks to Nirmala Narayan Chakraborty and appreciate his egolessness and humility. I called him day before yesterday, late at night. and I said, "Sir, I am going to make an unreasonable request. You should not say no." Everybody has vanished. The ministers who promised they will come to the last moment couldn't come. So he gladly agreed. Not only agreed, he wrote to me, "I feel humbled to have been called upon to give the convocation address, which I accept with humility and great devotion." So we particularly thank him for this gesture.
Yes, it's my pleasure now to introduce Professor Nirmala Narayan Chakravarti, the guest in chief in today's convocation ceremony. As Atmapyanji said just now, we are grateful to him for agreeing to be with us today when approached at literally the 11th hour. Professor Chakravarti is presently Vice Chancellor of Presidency University, Kolkata, and Chairman of the Indian Council of Philosophical Research, New Delhi. He was a professor of philosophy at Rabindra Bharati University, Kolkata, and has been a visiting fellow at several universities, including the University of Glasgow, UK, the University of Pune, the University of Hyderabad, and the University of Naples, El Orientale, Italy. He completed his schooling in West Bengal and graduated from the University of Calcutta with philosophy major. He earned his MA degree in philosophy from Jadavpur University in 1985 and again from Brock University, Canada in 1989. He got his PhD in philosophy in 1993 from the University of Waterloo, Canada, where his research area was analytic philosophy of language. Professor Chakrabarty's research areas include philosophy of language, classical Indian and Western analytical, epistemology, philosophy of religion, and environmental ethics. He has been a teacher to hundreds of students studying in various universities in India, Canada, and the UK, and I think Italy also. He has authored and edited several books in English and Bangla. Some of the titles are Glimpses of Western Philosophy, Glimpses of Classical Indian Philosophy, Kant O Bharatiya Darshan. He has written scores of articles, some with very interesting titles. For example, The Challenge of Being Virtuous, a lesson from the Mahabharata. Second, on the very idea of the authority of the Vedas. Third, realism, anti-realism, and quietism. Has philosophy become dispensable? Next, Three Pandits in Search of a Forgotten Scholarship is one of his latest publications. When I mentioned he has written scores of articles, it seems to be that I'm being too synoptic. Professor Saheb is a prolific writer. I humbly request him to pardon me for being so brief. But, as the saying goes, time and tide wait for none. I too am bound by today's time-bound program. I now request Professor Chakravarti to give the convocation address, and I also request all our students particularly to listen to him very attentively. Professor Saheb.
ॐ या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता
या वीणा वरदण्डमण्डितभुजा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा. Most revered Swami Gautamanandaji Maharaj, President Ramakrishna Math and Mission, respected Swami Subiranandaji Maharaj, General Secretary, Ramakrishna Math and Mission, respected Swami Anandaji Maharaj, Pro-Chancellor, Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda Educational and Research Institute, respected Swami Sarvottamaనందజీ, Honorable Vice Chancellor of this institute, distinguished scientist and inventor Dr. Shankar Das Gupta, recipient of D.Sc. Honoris Causa, eminent guests, dear students who have completed their studies. It is indeed a momentous occasion for all of us who have gathered here today to witness the celebration of the 21st anniversary of the Foundation Day and the annual Convocation ceremony. Since its inception, Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda Educational and Research Institute has committed itself to implementing the holistic idea of education as envisioned by Swami Vivekananda. In its 21 years of existence, this institute has relentlessly worked to disseminate knowledge embedded in the classical Indian repertoire, adapting it to the demands of the time to reach out to the less privileged sections of the society. Atmano mokshartham jagadhitaya cha is the guiding mantra of this institute. And you, the students, who have been nurtured and taught by the teachers and the revered Swamijis of this institute, are the spokes of the wheel through which the institute has been moving ahead, holding its head high. The onus is on you to further spread the teachings that you have received here. Pure heart, unquenching thirst for knowledge, and selfless service for mankind. Let these be your guiding spirit. Let me on this occasion draw your attention to some points contained in the Education Commission formed in 1964 under the leadership of D.S. Kothari, chairman of UGC at that time. The commission was formed to, I quote, advise government on the national pattern of education and on the general principles and policies for the development of education at all stages and in all aspects. The Kothari Commission accepts nothing could be more challenging, vital, and relevant to India's progress and development, economic, cultural, and spiritual. Interestingly, in the content of the Kothari Commission report, the very first chapter is entitled Education and National Objectives. The sections in this chapter include problems of national development, education as an instrument of change, educational revolution, relating education to life, needs and aspirations of people, education and productivity, education and social and national integration, education and modernization, social, moral, and spiritual values, a challenge and faith. This content suggests, among other things, an attempt to formulate an education policy best suited to satisfy the needs and aspirations of independent India. Chapter 12 of this report starts with a quote from Jawaharlal Nehru proclaiming, I quote, "A university stands for humanism, for tolerance, for reason, for the adventure of ideas, and for the search of truth. A community of teachers and students, through mutual transaction, deepens man's understanding of the universe, of himself, in mind, body, and spirit, disseminating this knowledge to society and applying it for the service of mankind." The functions of a university in the modern world are: 1. To seek and cultivate new knowledge. 2. To provide the right kind of leadership. 3. To provide society with competent individuals imbued with a sense of social purpose. 4. To strive to promote equality and social justice. 5. To foster in teachers and students the attitudes and values needed to develop the good life in individuals and society. Among the special responsibilities of Indian universities are: 1. Serving as the conscience of the nation. 2. Encourage individuality, variety, and dissent within a climate of tolerance. 3. Promoting adult education. 4. Assisting the schools in their qualitative self-improvement. 5. Replacing the examination-centric studies with a symbiotic development of teaching and research. This report, back in 1964, laments that Indian universities are more concerned with external paraphernalia than with the warmth and fellowship of academic society, resulting in a lack of an intellectual community. Against this brief talk, a few demands from a university come to the fore. Namely, first, the relentless pursuit of knowledge and work at the cutting edge of the cognitive enterprise are considered the backbone of a university community. Second, university must have a social mooring, and that enables it to contribute to the well-being of society in general. In the modern world, because of the coexistence of many diverse and sometimes contradictory forces of thought, these two goals do not always seem to go hand in hand. There are many aspects of this tension worth discussing, but very briefly today I would like to draw your attention to one of the issues that I feel very important for the existence, for the thriving of the modern day Indian universities. It is undeniable that employability is an urgent issue to be addressed, especially in a country like India. As a country of young people, India needs to create opportunities and develop the abilities of its youth. It is only then that any talk of the well-being of India makes sense. But at the same time, the classical idea of a university as a community of scholars dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge must not be abandoned. Enlightenment, despite its many failures, has taught us the cry for an emancipatory ideal. The rationalism of the foundationalist version is susceptible not because rationalism per se is doubtful, but because it leaves no room for human fallibility. It is because of our social and political existence that we cannot leave rationality aside. Reason may not help us in reaching a set of unassailable truths, But at the same time, reason cannot be allowed to fall prey to the vagaries of space and time. One could talk of three kinds of cultural values. One, theoretical, depending on science and scientific enterprises. Two, praxeological, depending on morals. And three, aesthetic, depending on art and allied areas. All three of these values have their own dynamics. So sometimes they clash with each other. As a result, these three values gained institutional independence, and instead of enlivening our lives, they moved far away from our life world. With the rise of modern capitalism, rationalism was confined to the immediate present, resting solely on science in the narrow sense of the term. Thus, the theoretical reigned over the praxeological and the aesthetic. This generates a notion of rationality that exhausts itself in means-end calculation, in which profit becomes the sole concern. As opposed to this rather very narrow notion of means-end centric rationality, the need of the day, seems to me, is to fall back on an idea of rationality that is not imposed from above, but rather emerges from sincere, relentless dialogue. Socratic claim of ignorance was not a matter of simple humility. He was not feigning his ignorance. It is a pointer to a collaborative project in search of truth, a truth for which he sacrificed his life. This dialogic process involves language, knowledge of the proper use of language, and sincere urge to acquire knowledge. This is how communication, as an attempt to convey one's thoughts and receive others' thoughts, takes place. This is not merely a skill. To articulate and communicate is the main purpose. This give and take enriches all the parties involved in the dialogue. This dialogue is not a place to show off one's power, intellectual or social. This is not a dialogue under duress. It is here that the idea of intersubjectivity emerges. An agreement might be difficult to achieve, but behind any disagreement, there is a large area of shared beliefs, and this shareability becomes prominent in a dialogic process. The importance of dialogic rationality is all the more felt today because, despite many startling achievements in many areas of human inquiry, mankind faces predicaments that, unless addressed, threaten the very existence of the human species. Today, people are talking about Anthropocene, in which the very direction of the evolutionary process has been affected by human intervention with serious consequences. A narrow conception of utility, coupled with statistical analysis of profit and economic development, tends to ignore other elements of human existence that are equally important, if not more important, for human flourishing. The aim of university education cannot be confined to merely passing information to students. The urge to question the received knowledge, the ability to improve, and even to question it is the bane of university education. And in this project, a community of scholars and students is a must. The pursuit of knowledge makes sense only when the community of scholars and students can debate the issues affecting them, argue about their ideas and ideals, and situate them within a complex world order. This is true of any cognitive pursuit, cutting across disciplinary boundaries. Despite many laudable aspects of ancient Greek democracy, Socrates thought that the Athenians claimed to know many things and boasted of possessing the correct knowledge, while really speaking, these are all pretentious claims. Socrates made the Athenians realize the hollowness of their claims, and naturally, this made him unpopular. A lack of critical thinking makes one gullible to the prevailing set of ideas, getting swayed by group sentiment. This results in disrespect of the alternative views. Even in a corporate culture, sometimes a lone critical voice becomes crucial to the corporation's survival. The importance of innovation in industry is obvious. The NEP 2020 rightly recognizes that the goal of higher education is, and I quote, more than the creation of greater opportunities for individual employment. Getting carried away by the narrow conception of utility results in leaving little room for innovative research and peer-reviewed research funding in most of the universities, and as NEP acknowledges this lacuna. This is precisely why the idea of intellectual community is of profound importance. The university is the abode of this intellectual community. The mere undertaking of quantifiable measures in the development of a university without taking into account the nourishment of the intellectual community is like decorating a dead body with ornaments. Poverty in the external paraphernalia certainly is to be removed, but not at the cost of the meeting of the minds. Nice buildings with state-of-the-art facilities can never be the soul of a university. We should remind ourselves of Rabindranath Tagore's small story, The Parrot's Training, Tota Pakhir Kahini, where all the energies are put into constructing and taking everyday care of the beautiful cage of the bird so that the bird can be taught different disciplines. And at the end, the bird dies with all the peppers, puthis, frothing out of its stomach. Our universities cannot afford to produce parrots like this every year. Once again, I convey my best wishes to all the students for the successful completion of their academic programs. Ano Bhadra Krato Yantu Vishwataha. Let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. Thank you and namaskar.
Thanks a lot, Professor Chakravarti, today's guest in chief. I hope, as requested, the students present here have listened to him with rapt attention. He has spoken on many topics about what knowledge should be, logic, rationality, questioning, debate, etc. It pleases us to say that Indian tradition, the Upanishadic tradition, has always encouraged questioning. The Mundaka Upanishad, the Kena Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, all have this tradition of questioning, debates, argumentation to arrive at the truth. There's no time to go on. I now humbly request Most Revered President Maharaj to give his benedictory address.
young men and women assembled here for the convocation, who will be receiving your certificates today in recognition of the successful completion of your respective academic programs. On the eve of your launching forth on your journey in life's solemn main, as the poet H.W. Longfellow said in his inspiring poem, The Psalm of Life, we may recall his famous lines. I quote, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Footprints that perhaps another sailing over life's solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing, shall take heart again. Let us then be up and doing with a heart for any fate, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait. These are the great words of H.W. Longfellow. I have witnessed the struggles and hiccups, the teething troubles that this baby deemed university had to face while it was just coming on its force in the initial years after its birth. How it boldly faced and overcame all the obstacles with ease by divine grace is a saga to which I was an eyewitness and which I now recall at this ripe old age with satisfaction and joy. It is my singular delight to see the steady growth of this university and the pace and manner at which it is growing from strength to strength. My participation here, apart from the fact that I was witness to the university's birth and steady growth that is now entering into its 20s from teenage, is as the president of Ramakrishna Mission of governing body, which is the sponsoring society of this university. This fact fills me with double delight. Swami Vivekananda, speaking about the aim of the mutt that would be founded at Belur, wrote, I quote, now the aim is to gradually develop this Belur mutt into an all-round university. He again said, on this joyous occasion, we particularly recall with gratefulness the part played by Miss Josephine MacLeod, Swamiji's American disciple, who called herself more as a friend than a disciple, who gave the first donation of rupees 10,000 for the university project as early as in the 1940s. We also respectfully pay homage to other pioneers who were associated with this project, namely Swamis Madhavanandaji, Vireshwaranandaji, Vimuktanandaji, and Ranganathananji, all of whom I have seen, among others, who worked tirelessly to actualize Swamiji's vision of a university at Belur Mutt. It's my privilege, as it is of Swami Atmapriyananda, who served as the founding Vice-Chancellor for the first 15 years since the inception of the university, and is now serving as the Pro-Chancellor, to join this blessed group and to have been able to contribute to the establishment and steady growth of this Swamiji's university in whatsoever infinitesimal measure. Swami Vivekananda's educational vision, a precious legacy that he bequeathed to us, is best articulated in his own powerful words. I quote, "The training by which the current and expression of will are brought under control and become fruitful is called education." Again, he says, the ideal of all education, all training should be man-making. Education is not the amount of information put into your brain and runs riot there, undigested all your life. We must have life-building, man-making, character-making assimilation of ideas. If you have assimilated 5 ideas and made them your life and character, you have more education than any man who has got by heart a whole library. If education is identical with information, the libraries would be the greatest sages in the world, and the encyclopedias would be the greatest rishis. Again, Swamiji says, we want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. What we want are Western science coupled with Vedanta, Brahmacharya as the guiding motto, and also Shraddha and faith in one's own self. Swamiji quotes again, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. I look upon religion as the innermost core of education. Mind, I do not mean my own or anyone else's opinion about religion. Religion is the manifestation of the divinity already in man. The uniqueness of this university lies in that it is administered and run solely by qualified monks of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission, who occupy key positions like Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Registrar, Deputy Registrar, Assistant Registrar, Controller of Examinations, heads of some departments, etc. These monks, duly qualified as per UGC regulations and norms, are academic administrators, besides engaging in academic activities like teaching and cutting-edge research. This, interestingly, is in line with Swami Vivekananda's educational vision. Swamiji said, in our country, the imparting of knowledge has always been through men of renunciation. The charge of imparting knowledge should begin again, fall again upon the shoulders of Tyagis. Finally, I wish all the graduating students well in their future career and firmly hope that they would prove worthy of the great legacy bequeathed to them by this university and grow as men and women of impeccable character, develop as integrated personalities with a harmonious blend of the 3 H's, 3H, heart to feel, head to think, and hands to work, which mean have bhakti, have jnana, and have karma, with yoga or concentration enveloping all these 3. This emblem of Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission that arose spontaneously in Swami Vivekananda's mind and heart, the emblem of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission, a mark of his artistic and spiritual genius. This little picture telling 1,000 tales of the selfless service of the spiritual genius of twin organizations, Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission, with all anchored in the spiritual roots of Prachina Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, ancient Indian wisdom tradition. May you all, young men and women, who are passing out of the portraits of Swamiji's university, serve our beloved motherland, Bharat, in her march towards becoming a global superpower, not to dominate and to compete, but to shower peace and benediction, goodwill and blessings on the world which is presently strife-torn, conflict-ridden, and panic-stricken, is my earnest prayer. May the following Swami Vivekananda's stirring words be your eternal inspiration. I quote, "Let us work hard, my brethren. This is no time for sleep. On our work depends the coming of India of the future. She is there, ready, waiting. She is only sleeping. Arise and awake and see her seated there on her eternal throne, rejuvenated, more glorious than ever she was, this motherland of ours." Again, none can resist her anymore, Swamiji said. No outward powers can hold her back anymore, for the infinite giant is rising to her feet. Thank you all. Jai Sri Ram Krishna. Jai Swamiji.
Now, most revered Maharaj will launch two small projects that were conceived and designed by Swami Paramashivananda, who is the head of a center recently started at the Belur main campus with a branch in Chennai Ramakrishna Math, which is a center for artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and mixed reality. Paramashivananda will brief about this, and revered Maharaj will launch this scheme.
Namaste, Om. My respectful pranams to most revered President Maharaj, all revered Maharaj, and namaskars to all faculty and students assembled here for the today's convocation. Just over 2 years ago, we embarked on a visionary journey with the inception of Center for AI, Artificial Intelligence, Internet of Things and Mixed Reality, called the AIoT-MR. It was a bold step into the future. Yet, the technological landscape is evolving at an unprecedented pace. Now, we are not just looking at standard artificial intelligence. We are witnessing its rapid transformation towards AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence, and also the futuristic superintelligence. The Internet of Things is also maturing into something called Internet of Intelligence Things. Similarly, the mixed reality, it's kind of evolving into augmented, virtual, and extended reality. So in order to rise to this paradigm shift, we are attempting today to take a monumental step forward. Today, it gives us immense joy to announce the consolidation of these advanced technological domains into a powerful new twin initiative. You can see it here, the Intelligence and Reality Platform. Because we are from Ramakrishna Mission and our institution bears the name of Swami Vivekananda, this new multidisciplinary platform is built on something far more profound than just a software or hardware. It is deeply rooted in the foundational wisdom of Indian knowledge systems, particularly Yoga and Vedanta. While we recognize the West offers unparalleled technological advances and methodologies, we firmly believe that the objectives and the solutions must be guided by the Eastern traditional wisdom. when technology is driven by the ancient ideals, it does more than just solve mechanical problems. It becomes life transforming, ultimately leading to true self transformation. Now, our most revered President Maharaj will be launching this new twin intelligence and reality platform. We now request Maharaj to launch this portal called rkmm.ai, a gateway into this platform. So you have seen Maharaj launching this platform? Yes. You can now see the portal rkmm.ai that contains all the projects as part of the platform. You have the digital publications and archives. There is also a new project called RKMM Illam, a wordplay of AI and LLM, a new generative AI platform for the publications of the Ramakrishna Order, making it more accessible. We also have a robust pipeline of high fidelity AI media, which we will preview one of them, a cinematic short video vividly depicting the inception of our Vivekananda University. Preserving our past is also very critical as inventing the future. Through a prestigious project funded by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, we are creating something called immersive spaces in RKMM. We are using advanced 3D scanning to digitally immortalize Swami Vivekananda's heritage objects, historic rooms, and sacred buildings, preserving them for generations to come. Also, from our award-winning international emotional well-being initiatives, We Mind You, to our national success with the Narendra Smart Toy, our focus remains on impactful innovation. Recently, we have taken this step further with two innovative projects called Samsmriti Darshanam, a project where we fuse AI and mixed reality with Indian knowledge systems, creating practical spiritual methodologies for preventive mental well-being. And also this called Netravani, an initiative dedicated for visually challenged, where we are completely redefining traditional Indian storytelling through the synergy of immersive audio and generative AI. Finally, there is a greater need from the student and professional community to work in such projects with a deeper meaning and purpose. Hence, we have created a program called Digi Seva, coined by our most revered Atmapriyanji Maharaj, where you have the opportunity to work with us on a real-world societal problem using the emerging digital technologies. Next, most revered President Maharaj will be launching the Illam, where we can ask a question related to life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda, and we get the answers instantly with references and excerpts. Maharaj will be now launching on a futuristic augmented reality glass, where you can see it, which has actually cameras, GPS, and a built-in display. So Maharaj will be able to see the display. So this is the next future, from the smartphones to the augmented reality glasses. Maharaj will see the video. Thank you, Maharaj. One more. Okay. So, all right, video, Maharaj. Video, play. Further, you can see a demo of the Illam where you can ask a question. How does Swami Vivekananda define education? And you can get the answer here with reference and excerpts. You can see a live demo here. You can also later access the platform. So how does Swami Vivekananda define education? It is running using the latest LLM models, and you'll get the answers. Yeah. So you get the answer here. So finally, now we can see a high fidelity AI-generated cinematic short video of the inception of the Vivekananda University. You can see the video now.
This Swamiji and Swami Premanand are all AI generated. You can see Swamiji teaching in the training center in those days. So his strict routine he follows. We are so thankful he spent at least such a long time with us. For Ashtanga Pranams, he is blessing everybody. But what you are going to do with these blessings, as Dr. Dasgupta said, ঠাকুরের আশীর্বাদ তো আছে, কি করবে?
Blessed moments these, we will remember this all our life. Thank you, Maharaj, for being with us. We feel really blessed. We shall now continue with the program of the convocation. Now will be the admission of the new graduates to the respective degrees by Swami Sarvottomanandaji, Vice Chancellor, R.K.M. Veri.
The graduating students should stand up on their own places. যারা ডিগ্রি পাচ্ছে সবাই দাঁড়িয়ে As per the authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor of this university, I hereby admit you to your degrees and diplomas with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining, for which you have duly qualified by satisfying all the program requirements. Further, I charge you to always strive to adhere to the spirit and letter of the noble vows that you have taken on this occasion to build your lives upon the bedrock of impeccable character, thus proving worthy of this university, bearing the hallowed name of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. You may be seated.
Now there will be the administration of oath, pledge to the students in Sanskrit with English translation.
আবার সবাই দাঁড়িয়ে পড়ো যে সবার কাছে আছে না দীক্ষান্ত প্রতিজ্ঞা আমি বলবো তোমরা মনে মনে বলবে रामकृष्ण मिशन विवेकानंद शैक्षणिक शोध संस्थानस्य दीक्षांत प्रतिज्ञा शरीरम आद्यम खलु धर्म साधनम इति नीति वाक्यम अवधार्य श्रम क्षम सेवा समर्थ निरोग शरीराय स्वास्थ्य पालन परो भवितुम अहम यथा साध्यम यतिष्ये तेजोसी तेजोमयी देहि धेहि वीर्यमसि वीर्यमहि मयि धेहि बलमसि बलमयि धेहि ओजोसि ओजोमयि धेहि मन्युरसि मन्युमयि धेहि सहोऽसि सहोमयि धेहि पेशयो मे लोह समा भवन्तु स्नायवो मे अयांसि एव भवन्तु हृदय में वज्रसारम भवतु. English translation. Contemplating the wise dictum that the body is the first and foremost instrument for the practice of dharma, I will strive my best to follow all the rules relating to the maintenance of good health, to develop a healthy and strong physique that is capable of hard work and service. Prayer. O Lord, you are the embodiment of illumined understanding. Grant me a pure and luminous mind. You are the embodiment of fortitude. Grant fortitude unto me. You are the embodiment of physical energy and vitality. Grant me physical strength and vitality. You are the embodiment of ojas. Grant ojas unto me. You are the embodiment of indignation, anger against injustice. Grant unto me the strength to stand up against injustice. You are the embodiment of forbearance. Grant me forbearance. May I be endowed with muscles of iron and nerves of steel, inside which dwells a mind that is like the thunderbolt. Dvitiya Pratigya. स्वाध्याय प्रवचनाभ्याम न प्रमदितव्यम इति श्रुति वचनम अवधार्य स्वाध्याय परायण ज्ञान यज्ञ निष्ठ सर्वदा भवितुम अहम यथा साध्यम यतिष्ये. मेधा देवी जुषमाणा न आगात विश्वाची भद्रा सुमनस्य माना त्वया जुष्टा नुदमाना दुरुक्ता बृहद वदेम विदथे सुवीरा. English translation. Second Pratigya. Contemplating the Upanishadic dictum, namely, do not neglect study and teaching, I will always strive my best to be devoted to study, cultivation, and sharing of my knowledge with others. Prayer. May the goddess of Medha, the subtle intelligence capable of intuiting higher truths, who is profound and capable of delving deep into any branch of knowledge, who is the source of all goodness and well-being, who is full of benediction, being delighted, come to us. O Goddess, may we, who had been enjoying useless speech like gossip, rumor mongering, etc., before you came into our hearts, become enlightened by being blessed by you and become capable of engaging in elevating and ennobling discussions in the company of our heroic sons and disciples and of expressing the supreme truth. Triti Pratigya. Satyameva jayate nanutam satyena pantha vitato devayanah iti श्रुति वाक्यम अवधार्य कायेन मनसा वाचा सत्यपरायण भवितुम अहम यथा साध्यम यतिष्ये. असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतम गमय. Third Pratigya. Contemplating the Upanishadic dictum, namely, truth alone triumphs, not untruth. The divine path extends through truth. I will strive my utmost to be devoted to truth in all possible ways, in body, speech, and mind. Prayer. From untruth, lead me unto truth. From darkness, lead me unto light. From death, lead me unto immortality. Fourth prayer, Chaturth Prarthana. परहिताय परार्थाय यह जीवति स एव जीवति अन्ये तु जीवन मृतः इति श्रीमद् विवेकानंद स्वामिनां सुमहत् वचनम संस्मृत्य नीचता, क्रूरता, दाम्भिकता आदि मलिन स्वार्थ संततिर विहाय उदार चेता विनयी श्रद्धावान नर नारायण सेवा निष्ठ भवितुम हम यथा साध्यम यतिष्ये. यानि अनवद्यानि कर्माणि तानि सेवितव्यानि नो इतराणि. आत्मोपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति यो अर्जुन सुखम वा यदि वा दुःखम स योगी परमो मतः इति श्रुति स्मृति आदेश वचन जातम तथा आत्मवत् सर्वभूतेषु संपश्येत इति ईशख्रिष्ट वाक्यम च अनुष्ठान परायेण मया सदैव भाव्यम. Fourth Pratna, fourth Pratigya. Remembering the wonderful great saying of Swami Vivekananda, namely, they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. I will strive my utmost to renounce all debasing selfish emotions like pettiness, cruelty, conceit, etc., and become large hearted, humble, endowed with Shraddha, and devoted to the service of all beings as embodiments of the divine. May I devoutly follow the following sayings of the Vedas and the Gita, as well as of Jesus Christ, and always try to live up to them. Only those works that are blemishes should be performed, blemishless should be performed, and not any other. Taittiriya Upanishad. O Arjuna, one who has the sameness of vision everywhere, looking upon everything, be it pleasurable or painful, as the image of one's own self, is the supreme yogi. Do unto others as you would, they would do unto you. The Holy Bible. Pancham Pratigya. सुपरिचालित संहति शक्ति एव समाज कल्याण निदानम अत ऐक्य प्रतिष्ठा मूलकान संहति शक्ति जागरणात्मकान संगच्छध्वम संवदध्वम संवो मनांसि जानताम सहवीर्यम करवावहे माँ विद्विषावहे इत्यादि श्रुति आदेशान अवधार्य सदुपाय परः सन्नहम समाज भुक्ते सर्वे ऐक्य बद्धो भवितुम बहुजन हिताय बहुजन सुखाय यथा साध्यम यतिष्ये. Fifth Pratigya. The welfare of society depends on well-managed organizational power. Therefore, contemplating the following Vedic dicta that seek to establish unity of purpose and arouse the power of unified thought and action, namely, may you all march forward together. May all your speech have a common focus. May your minds and thoughts vibrate in unison. May we strive together in a common endeavor. May there be no disharmony between us. I will always and in all circumstances strive my utmost to function harmoniously and with perfect understanding and in unison with all my colleagues, co-workers and fellow travelers in life, for the welfare of many, for the happiness of the many. Prarthana. Sankalpeshu eshu Paramatma me sahayo bhavatu. Esha me bhavatu shubhaya bhavatu shivaya bhavatu kshemaya. Tasmay Paramatmane namah. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva. Yad Bhadram Tanma Asuva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Concluding prayer. May the Supreme Being always help me to be faithful to these vows which I have now taken. May He be compassionate and auspicious to me in my endeavor to keep these vows. O effulgent Being, remove all my blemishes and grant unto me all that is auspicious and good. Om peace, peace, peace. May this whole exercise be an offering unto Sri Ram Krishna.
Please take your seats. When you came in the university, you may remember 3 years ago, 5 years ago, we had a small ceremony which is called Vidyarthi Vrata, in which certain mantras were administered to you, which are necessary for a good Vidyarthi or a plural, gender free. What is required of a student? That were 5 vows. And now you're repeating the same thing just when going out. This is called in Purva Mimamsa exegetics as Upakrama and Upasamhara. You begin with these vows as a student. At the end, when you are going out after receiving your certificates, in recognition of your successful completion of your respective academic programs, you're repeating them once again. It's called reiteration. So keep these papers with you, don't throw them away. Now and then you read them. The other paper which you have, you must have lost it perhaps. And this also you keep with you. Now and then you see, and then ask yourself whether you are following them to the letter and the spirit as much as possible. The great Swami who composed this, based on Swami Ramakrishnananda's mantras for the brahmacharin, said, Yatha sadhyam yatishye. Yatha sadhyam, as much as possible. Yatishye, I will try. So you have no commitment, don't worry. So these are great mantras which we composed, particularly in the context of this university named after Swamiji's hallowed name. And we have been administering these vows since the inception from the very first convocation. So thanks all of you for reading it out after our revered Vice Chancellor Maharaj, and please try to follow them. Now, we will have the Chancellor's address. Swami Suvirananji, unfortunately, he is not well enough to be present physically, but we have a short video of his, which is rich in content, in which is spoken about Swami Vivekananda's educational vision vis-a-vis what the UNESCO and the United Nations said in the context of the National Education Policy NEP 2020. About 19 minutes of this video. We'll now play this. Please listen.
नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Learned members of the faculty, brother monks, brahmacharis, and very, very dear students. Now coming to my convocation address in the capacity of the Chancellor of this deemed to be university. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchi Sukha Sarupaya Swamine Tapuharine. Learned members of the faculty, brother monks, brahmacharis, and very, very dear students. Now coming to my convocation address in the capacity of the Chancellor of this deemed to be university, Swami Vivekananda said, I quote, "As I look back upon the history of my country, I geometry, astronomy, and the term of modern science, mixed mathematics, were all invented in India, just so much as the 10 numerals, the very cornerstone of all present civilization, were discovered in India and are in reality Sanskrit words. In philosophy, we are even now head and shoulder above any other nation, as Schopenhauer, the great German philosopher, has confessed. In music, India gave to the world her system of notation with the 7 cardinal notes and the diatonic scale, all of which we enjoyed as early as 350 BC, while it came to Europe only in the 11th century. In philology, our Sanskrit language is now universally acknowledged to be the foundation of all European languages, which in fact are nothing but jargonized Sanskrit. In literature, our epics and poems and dramas rank as high as those of any language. Our Shakuntala was summarized by Germany's greatest poet as heaven and earth united. India has given to the world the fables of Aesop, which were copied by Aesop from an old Sanskrit book, Hitopadesha. It has given the Arabian Nights. In manufacture, India was the first to make cotton and purple dye. It was proficient in all works of jewelry, and the very word sugar, as well as the article itself, is the product of India. Lastly, she has invented the game of chess and the cards and the dice. So great, in fact, was this superiority of India in every respect, that it drew to her borders the hungry cohorts of Europe, and thereby indirectly brought about the discovery of America. The Indian education system produced great scholars such as Charaka, Sushruta, Aryabhatta, Brahmamihira, Bhaskaracharya, Brahmagupta, Chanakya, Chakrapani Datta, Madhava, Panini, Patanjali, Nagarjuna, Gautama, Pingala, Sankaradeva, Maitri, Gargi, and Tiruvalluvar, among numerous others who made seminal contributions to the world knowledge in diverse fields such as mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, medical science, surgery, civil engineering, architecture, shipbuilding, navigation, yoga, fine arts, chess, and more. But there was a time when India lost its primacy in education, in arts, in music, in science, in mathematics, and so on. While India went into slumber, the world marched ahead. Age of enlightenment bypassed India. Liberty, equality, fraternity, reason, tolerance, human rights, application of scientific method to social and political thinking, rejection of superstition, the ideas which transformed the Western society and lead to industrial age didn't touch our shores nor disturbed our slumber. This slumber was broken when an unknown young man of 30 years appeared in Chicago at the inaugural meeting of the Parliament of Religions in September 1893. In the words of Sister Nivedita, I again quote, "And as he spoke, in the youth and noonday of the West, a nation sleeping in the shadows of the darkened half of the earth, on the far side of the Pacific, waited in spirit for the words that would be born on the dawn that was traveling towards them to reveal to them the secret of their own greatness and strength." Unquote. Romarola, the French Nobel laureate, calls this as the Lazarus come forth moment for India. He asks, I quote, "Did the dead arise? Did India, thrilling to the sound of his words, reply to the hope of her herald? Was her noisy enthusiasm translated into deeds?" And himself answers, India was hauled out of the shifting sands of barren speculation, wherein she had been engulfed for centuries by the hand of one of her own sannyasis. And the result was that the whole reservoir of mysticism, slipping beneath, broke its bounds and sprayed by a series of great ripples into action. The West ought to be aware of the tremendous energies liberated by this means. The world finds itself face to face with an awakening India in huge prostrate body, lying along the whole length of the immense peninsula, stretching its limbs and collecting its scattered forces. Unquote. Failure to pay heed to Swami Vivekananda's teachings while formulating education policies from the time of independence is the cause of many of the ills that is affecting our education system today. Swamiji's scheme of education aims to create a band of men and women who would combine in their lives the spiritual idealism of the East and the material practicality of the West. I quote, "Can you become an Occidental of Occidentals in your spirit of equality, freedom, work and energy?" Swamiji asked. And he answered, I again quote, "This is to be done, and we will do it. You are all born to do it." Ramakrishna Mission's efforts in starting various educational institutions to teach the secular subjects like modern sciences, technology, vocational-oriented sciences, arts, English, etc. on the one hand, and the spiritual subjects like the ancient Upanishads, Sanskrit, Vedic literature, etc. on the other, was to create a complete human being, all round and fully developed in the 3 H's, heart, head, and head. We must have life-building, man-making, character-building assimilation of ideas. What we want is that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's feet. Unquote. Thus, Swamiji has given us the roadmap for future. The future of education in India holds promise, but also demands radical changes. Here are some key areas that need attention. Number one, holistic learning. Shifting from a focus on rote memorization to holistic learning that fosters creativity, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. 2. Technology integration. Leveraging technology for personalized learning, digital resources, and online courses to bridge educational gaps, especially in rural areas. 3. Vocational education. Encouraging vocational and skill-based training to equip with students with practical skills, making them job ready. 4. Inclusive education. Ensuring inclusivity for marginalized communities and addressing gender disparities in education. 5. Quality assurance. Implementing stringent quality standards for both public and private educational institutions to maintain a high level of education. 6. Research and innovation. Encouraging research and innovation at all levels of education to promote scientific and technological advancements. 7. Teacher training. Investing in teacher training programs to ensure the educators are well equipped to impart modern and relevant knowledge. The Education 2030 framework for action, which was adopted by 184 UNESCO member states, including India, seeks to, quoted, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030, quoted. To achieve this lofty goal, our country has formulated National Education Policy 2020 after extensive consultations across the country with all stakeholders, including Ramakrishna Mission. The NEP 2020, taking cue from Swamiji's teaching, lays particular emphasis on the development of all creative and potential of each individual. It advocates the development of not only the cognitive capacities, but also social, ethical, and emotional capacities and dispositions of the students. It presents a roadmap to develop an education system that nurtures good human beings capable of rational thought and action, possessing compassion and empathy, courage and resilience, scientific temper and creative imagination, with sound ethical moorings and values. It aims at producing engaged, productive, and contributing citizens for building an equitable, inclusive, and pluralistic society as envisaged by our Constitution. The education system should facilitate the harmonious development of the personality where sufficient avenues are available for the channeling of the human energies in a constructive and creative manner. It should ensure the training of the mind to will rightly and efficiently, of the heart to feel nobly and expansively, for the brain to think clearly and logically, and the organs to function effectively and moderately. Speaking about this harmony, Swami Vivekananda said, I again quote, "What we want are Western science coupled with Vedanta, Brahmacharya as the guiding motto, and also Shraddha and faith in one's own self." In a lecture delivered by Dr. Abul Kalam, the former President of India, on 11 September 2012 at Ramakrishna Mission, New Delhi, said, I quote, "We have seen that the seeds of peace in the world have their origin in the righteousness in the heart of every individual. Such righteous citizens lead to the evolution of enlightened society. Education with value system has to be so designed that the righteousness in the heart is developed in young minds. That should be the mission of education. Parents and teachers must inculcate moral leadership amongst children. It requires the ability to have insights into the uniqueness and universality of human consciousness. True education is the acquisition of enlightened feelings and enlightened powers to understand daily events and to understand the permanent truth linking man to his embodiment, human and planetary. In 1994, UNESCO formed the International Commission on Education. Its chairman was Jacques Delors of France. That's why the report of this commission is familiar as Delors Commission report. That report bears a wonderful title, Learning the Treasure Within. That is, there is gold in our heart, and the effort to excavate that gold is education. The gold that is in the heart, the attempt to bring it out, that is education, learning the treasure within. The Delors Commission says that in the coming 21st century, education would face many crises, or in the words of the Delors Commission, we will be facing this tension throughout this century. Without understanding these tensions, one can't understand why the National Education Policy 2020 has to be brought. What are these tensions? Firstly, the tension between the global and the local. How can we become world citizens without losing our roots? Secondly, tension between the universal and the individual. That's how can the globalization of relations enrich the unique character of each individual. Thirdly, tension between tradition and